I don't know if I understood you very well, Harold. I'm sorry.
No, God did.
We're gonna get this recorded so we can send it out to everybody, right?
Nice.
I'll tell you, every time this happens, just a second, you guys, I gotta send a link. I don't even know what it is. Shoot. Just bear with me for a quick second, guys.
Okay.
Let me find it.
You clearly have way too many screens to look at.
I know. This is
Most of us are staring straight ahead and you're looking fully right and fully left and up and down.
backward.
Yeah.
Let me just reply.
John, because he's important.
There. I got it done. Oh my gosh. And I'm recording this part too.
Okay.
I just sent it to you, Lane, but it looks like you found it.
I found an old one, thanks.
Okay.
Old one that worked just great.
Yeah, that's
I
why-
good did.
I was anxious to get on and see all you guys. I was all excited that I was afraid I was going to miss it.
yeah.
Oh, Harold, it's so good to see you. You look great.
Thank you.
Oh, wow.
That's
All
all
right,
right.
I'll quit talking. Sorry, Keith.
That's all right. I told him the same thing. I think he looks really good.
Yeah.
He's looking more vibrant every day. Ralph, how are you doing, buddy?
I'm doing really good. How are you
Good.
guys?
Doing good.
Good.
Well, I've already started the recording, so I guess I better watch my P's and Q's. Well, let's kick this thing off. I'll kind of keep a watch on the participants and see how they come in. But first of all, thank you guys, everybody. I know I say that every time, but I'm so thankful for all of you guys. It is, sometimes I get just a hair nervous, believe it or not. And then I just remember all of you, and it really puts me at ease. And I just care so much for all you guys, and you know that already. So I'm going to ask that if somebody wants to comment, they raise their hand. Now I got a couple, we had a switch today. So I had a speaker all scheduled to go, and she had a commitment she couldn't get out of, and she thought she'd be done in time, and it didn't work. So she'll be here another time. And then we've got, here's somebody else. We got Allison is on the call. She's going to be speaking to us here in the next couple of weeks. So everybody say hello to Allison.
Hello.
Allison.
Hey, Allison.
Oh,
Hi, everybody. Thanks for having me today.
Yeah.
thanks for being there.
Yep. Appreciate you being here. And so last meeting was with Dr. Toby Haynes, and it went long, but that was an incredible meeting, actually. And by the time, he had quite a presentation for us, and most of you were on there, but after that, then we got a chance to really talk, and it was really good. So, of course, we send out these meetings afterwards so everybody can talk and stuff. But today, what we're going to do is we're going to have an open agenda, and I'm going to pick on a few of you to kind of tell your story today. And what I'd like to do is I'd like to try to keep it to 5 to 12, 7 or 8 minutes long, if we can, because that way we give everybody a chance to talk. And I love that about this meeting. I think it's important for all of us to get a chance to visit and say what's on our minds. And so one of the things I wanted to start out with, let's see. Sorry guys, sorry guys. Earlier today, I got a call from Jeff Chetland, and he's on here too. And, as we go through our stroke, right, and as we start getting better, then one of the things that we tend to do is we reach out to other people who've had strokes and we help them. And I'm sitting here looking at all of you on this page, and I see so many of you who are doing that. And then there's some of you who are newer to it. Stroke just happened not that long ago, and you need some encouragement, frankly. And that's what we're about here. And so one of the things I'm going to do is I'm going to call on a few of you guys, tell your story a little bit, tell what's happened, and then give us the updated version of where are you today and how are things better. And I think that's really important that we as stroke survivors get a chance to talk about this amongst ourselves without having a speaker or whatever once in a while. And so, Jeff, buddy, I'm gonna charge off by having you talk today because he was contacted by somebody today, and I'll let you tell the story, Jeff. Go ahead, buddy.
Sure, Keith. Sure. Yeah. So I think most of you know me. I live in Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania, and I had a heart valve replaced, which went very successful 2 years ago. Actually, my stroke anniversary was last week, June 4th, and I ended up having a stroke in my cerebellum. And the lasting deficits that I will deal with the rest of my life is I have some visual disturbances and I have extreme dizziness. And what happened was the stroke affected my cerebellum. They took the cerebellum out surgically, saved my life basically. And I spent the better part of a year learning how to walk and talk and swallow, that kind of stuff. So I met Keith through, I'm not sure how, and Keith has always been kind of some guy I can call when I'm really depressed. And I'll never forget when I called Keith and I said, Keith, one of the things I think about is I have no reason to live anymore. I have 3 grown kids. I have a great wife. I have a great life. And sometimes I think about killing myself. And Keith said, me too. I did the same thing, Jeff. And I think we all go through that. And it made a lot of sense for me to hear that I'm not the only one thinking that way. And so here I am 2 years later. I can walk. I rode my bike. I did fall and break my arm a few weeks ago, so I have a broken arm now. But I'm really trying to push the limits on everything I can and can't do. And I'm trying right now to figure out what that is. But on Sunday afternoon, one of my old patients, when I used to be in practice, his wife said to me, Kurt had a valve replaced 8 years ago. And I just saw someone who said, Kurt had a stroke a year ago. And so I never really knew Kurt that well. I knew his kids, I knew his wife, and I reached out to him, and he's 52 years old, and he was having some heart issues, and they injected some contrast dye into some of his vessels, and it caused him to have a stroke. And so I called him and I said, Kurt, I'm coming over, because one of my buddies used to always bring a sandwich every Friday at lunch. And this is, I vomited for a year, and I went from 190 down to 130. And so everyone's trying to put weight back on me. So Pat would come to my house every Friday and bring me a sandwich. And my weight's back on. But I could not have done it with my friends, without Keith, without, this group. This group was very good for me also. And one of the things I always remember saying to Keith is, some of these people are really, really bad off, and Keith said, yeah, and it's a good group, and it was good to talk to. And I went to visit this guy today, and I took a big pizza, and I took some flowers for his wife, and we just sat. And turns out his stroke was almost identical to mine. His was in his I can't remember the area right now, but right below his cerebellum. And he looks way worse than I look, and he doesn't have any visual issues like I do. But I spent the better part of an hour with him, and some of his kids that I knew as patients were there, and we talked and talked and talked. And I came home. My wife's like, "Boy, you seem really peppy today." And I said, Jill, it's the first time in 2 years I have any sort of energy back. And it just being on the other end, for 2 years, all my friends were supporting me, and I was taking it all, and they'd come over and get me out walking or ride my bike. And now I'm the giver. I'm the giver of help, and it made me feel wonderful. And he took a picture, and he's 1 year out on the stroke. I invited him tonight. I don't think he joined, but it just made me feel wonderful. And I want to be able to do that more. And I realize, and Keith and I have talked about this a lot, that every stroke is so different, and you can't like you can't objectify. You just can't help stroke survivors. It has to be almost a one-on-one, because everybody's different. But for me to help one person made me feel so great today. And I don't know the guy who I'm looking at right now who's in the hospital bed, but if you're in Oregon, I'll come sit with you for an hour and talk to you, because it made me just feel great, and that's kind of my story.
I love it. I love it, buddy.
I love it too.
Yeah.
Thank you.
And Jeffrey, that motivates all of us. As I'm hearing you say this, it remotivates me, because really we get so much joy out of helping other people.
Yeah.
And it's so much a part of our healing.
Yeah. Yeah, it is. And I've done so much reading and podcasting and learning, and therapists, and they always talk about gratitude is the key, and it really is. But it also is having a sense of purpose. And for 2 years, I've had no purpose, but just basically to stay alive. And I've had no purpose, and I've thought about killing myself, and I never would. But you feel like you have no purpose in your life. And my kids are grown, and the whole thing. And for me to give back somehow, it just made such a difference.
And Jeff, here's the thing: there are people out there that a lot of us go see. I know I definitely do. A lot of folks who don't come to these meetings. Some people just don't want to join a group like this, or they're afraid for whatever reason or whatever. But going and seeing them, it still is making a huge difference, buddy. And so I'm glad you invited him. And if he comes, great. If he doesn't, great. But having your commitment to go see him once in a while, and maybe go have a cup of coffee, or go have a biscuit, or whatever, and just let him talk, because that's what it takes. It takes being willing to listen to other people. And now you found, I'm so excited, because I feel like your purpose is coming back to you, and Jeff, if you don't mind, buddy, purpose is one of those things that we all, we're going along, we're killing it, we're doing whatever we're doing in our job and all this, and then boom, we have a stroke. And our life completely does a 180. Okay. And we're different. We are different. I don't care if it's to your spouse, to your kids, whatever. We're different people, and it's hurtful, and it's
taken me 2 years to accept that. And the acceptance is the key word. My stepdad was here, and he said, Jeffrey, you have to accept it. And it's taken me 2 years. I'm trying to accept it. I've been fighting it. And Keith, you told me in the very beginning, you're going to be different. You got to accept it. I didn't believe you. I fought it. I want to be the old me, but you're not going to be, and you have to accept it. And I'll tell you one other thing that's on my mind. We were talking about, like, I'm a big believer in hope. And for the last 2 years, I've laid on my couch or my bed, and I've done a little bit of this here and that. But I wish, so this guy, when I left today, he said, it's only been a year for me. He said, and you're 2 years out, you look pretty damn good. You drove here, you walked, and it gave him some hope.
Yeah. I'm sitting here looking around this room, and I'll tell you what, I look at Harold. Harold, we talked to you. What has that been now? A year and a half? When was your stroke?
About a year and a half ago.
Yeah. And so, man, the progress, buddy, that you're making. And I want you to make certain, okay, that I don't know if you journal, if you talk in a recording, if you just talk to your spouse.
Journal.
I love it. You're my buddy, because, right here is my journal, and I do it almost every day. And it's so critical for all of us sitting in this room to be able to have that. And then you can go back once in a while and you can look at, oh my gosh, what was I going through? And it gives us hope. And we can continue to grow and continue to help other people, which Jeff, that's what, oh, that's awesome, Harold. That's awesome, buddy. I love it.
Oh, look.
That's very
Cool.
good, buddy. Yeah, I'm proud of
Wow.
you. I'm very proud of you because that's, that's what it takes. It takes that commitment. Yeah.
Your commitment. I'm lucky I was pretty athletic.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, it's coming back, bud. And you look fabulous. I'm not kidding you.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Harold, you just look amazing.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah. So
I had PT today.
say that one more time.
I had PT today.
Oh, good. Good. Yeah. Does it wear you out?
No, not really.
Yeah. That's good. That's good. So
Good.
I'm going to pick on a couple of more people here to talk just a little bit, and you can tell your story. You can, say whatever. Jeff, that was awesome, buddy, because it motivates us to get better. Let's see. Lonnie, you know what? Lonnie and I are good friends. We've been friends for a long time. And
Sorry about that, Lene.
I'm gonna get you back, Arnie.
Okay,
Your day's
I
coming.
expect it, Keith.
Yeah. And she doesn't really like, she's quite a businesswoman, but she doesn't really like, but Lonnie, help us out. I mean, talk about your story. Your story is pretty intense.
Yep.
So my stroke was 8 years ago. I was on a water slide in the Caribbean. Had a stroke on the way down. That's probably the most glamorous part of my story, or at least it makes everybody laugh. I ended up with, it was caused by a brain tumor that was later removed. Ended up with a bunch of medical complications, probably because of the medical system. So I ended up having a couple more surgeries because I was intubated wrong, all of that kind of stuff. And I just knew I was probably like all of you. I laid in that hospital bed and I looked up at the ceiling and I prayed a lot. And I was so scared because I knew my life had changed. I didn't know what it was going to look like, but I knew it was going to be very, very different. And so, I think that really motivated me to really want to find my tribe, which is all of you, because there's a comfort when we speak to each other. I mean, it's so fun, to hear Jeffrey speak, and now we've all kind of gotten to know each other, and it just feels so comfortable, for like Jeffrey to be able to say, I thought about committing suicide. Now, there's very few groups you can say that to that would understand it.
Yeah.
And yet we all understand it. And so I think there's so much comfort in being able to talk to people that understand kind of what's in our heads. And I have to tell you, you guys motivate me so much. I mean, I love the friendships we've made. I wish we could see all of us in person. And, as I told you, Keith, I would say the last 6 months have been a little hard for me. Just emotionally, I've gone up and down, just had to come back and refocus, try to figure out what does my life look like 8 years out. There was times I was angry again at the stroke, trying to figure out why, all of that. but I think I've really come to a place that really, as I give back in whatever form that is, that really is what brings me the most joy.
So,
And so thank you to
so-
all of you.
Lonnie, and Lonnie does a lot still. I won't even go into it, but, so we all go through these times. We all go through these times when, things are going good and then, things are going bad. And I was thinking about this just the other day, and it's not just stroke survivors. Everybody goes through that kind of a thing. Everything is highlighted for us. Okay. It's like,
That's the perfect word, Keith.
yeah,
Definitely.
it's like, oh crap, now I'm having a hard time walking. Oh crap, I can't talk, like I'd like to. I don't remember, and that one's me still, you guys. I still struggle with that. But does it matter? No. Jeff is going out and helping somebody else. And when you go out and you help other people, that's when you come alive and you start thinking again about what you can do for other people. And it's when we find that we're still going to have those crappy days. We're still going to have the bad days, bad weeks. We are. But I appreciate you saying that, because it all comes around, and it's us that we got to lean on. We got to lean on one another to get through this sometimes, because who was it I was talking to the other day, and they said, no one gets it. No, he's not on this call. It's another stroke survivor that I talk to all the time. And it's like, he's like, nobody gets it. None of my family, my spouse, nobody really understands what's going on. And that's true, but we've got to be able to be okay with that and still continue to make a difference out there, just like Jeff's doing, because that is where we're going to find that new passion. We're going to find a renewed sense of purpose for ourselves, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. Let me just read this real quick. This is V. She said, I had my strokes when I was 29. I thought I was accepting of it a year ago, but I'm finally starting to want to be part of these groups and fully be a part of it, because this is the new me that people don't understand, let alone me understanding. How true is that? So welcome. And V, you are welcome to talk for 5 to 7 minutes if you'd like. We'd love to hear from you.
Okay. I don't talk on these much, but yeah, so I was driving and something was wrong, and I was coherent during the stroke. I remember being life flighted. I went to 3 different hospitals. I worked in the in-home care industry, and so I kind of knew what was going on. And I had a brain surgery the next day. And physically, I'm pretty much okay, thank goodness. I know it could have been worse. My speech wasn't really affected too much. It's mainly my balance, but people don't understand the mental toll it takes.
Yeah.
Like I try explaining and no one gets it.
Yeah. V, I'm gonna say a comment right here, okay? Because I can tell the emotions are coming out. I cried for years, okay, and I still can cry when the emotion comes. And so what I'm gonna ask you to do right now is to let it go and be okay with it. You're amongst a group of people who get that. We've all been there. So continue on if you can, V.
I lost my house a week after we came home, and they burned it down.
Wow.
And my boss who promised me that she would always be there, let me go and told me, made up a bunch of excuses as to why she was letting me go.
Mhm.
And I know it was because of the strokes. And my dad died, my brother-in-law died. Like, I've just had a really crappy year and a half.
Mm.
And
V,
I want you on that.
yeah, we have V. One thing I want you to do here. I don't know how you heard about this, but you and I need to visit. Okay, I want to make sure that I visit with you off site and help you
Okay.
through this a little bit. Okay.
okay.
If that's okay. How did you hear about this meeting?
I heard about it roughly a year ago on a Facebook group, I think.
Okay.
And I've been listening for roughly a year, but I'm just now starting to really be more active.
Good. And listen, you guys, I'm not trying to take away anything from the group. I'm really not, but I feel like V, there's some real stuff here. And you've got to be able to get that out. We've got to help you. And
Hey, V, this is Arnie Hubelman from St. Louis.
Hello.
I just want to tell you, we've all gone through what you've gone through. So you're not alone. You're not doing this by yourself. We've all gone through it, and you really need to try and come on these calls more often, because you'll find out that we've all gone through everything you've gone through in varying degrees. And people in this group, you talk about motivation and inspiration. The more you come onto this group, the more you're going to hear everybody's story. And I'll tell you talk about inspiration. It's right here in this group.
Yeah.
Yes.
so Arnie, you're next, buddy. So V,
Okay.
finish up, would you?
Oh yeah. I just I think for me, I have an extra I mean, everyone's strokes is different. Everyone deals with their own battles, of course, but I mean, I was 29. I mean, I can't have kids. I can't there's a lot. I
Yeah, it is a lot.
What's that?
It is a lot.
This is a lot.
I'm
Yeah.
sorry, my Wi-Fi's cutting out.
Harold, can you type, buddy?
I can.
He said it is a lot.
Yes, thank you, Monica.
yeah. Thank you.
Thank you.
Yes.
And I'm part of a few young stroke survivor groups, and I don't know. It's just, I don't know if it's me or, I mean, I'm sure it's me, but something just doesn't feel like I'm connecting well.
Let me just make a comment now. V, I want you to understand, okay, I am not Mr. Pie in the sky guy, okay? I know it takes a lot of work. It takes a lot of effort. But I am here to tell you, okay, that I know you went through hell and you're still maybe going through it. But honey, you've got to get some positive going, and you got to start working. You're going to have to work through this. You're going to have to find your way, and you will find your way. 29, are you kidding me? So, and I don't know what support group you are. Have you come to our young survivors group?
I know I was referred to the woman that does the group, but I don't think I've ever heard from her.
Okay, Alicia, can you type into the message your email for me, please?
Yeah.
Okay. So getting back to this, it's gonna be hard. I'm not gonna sugarcoat that. It's gonna take some effort, okay? And you're gonna have to work your butt off, but it is gonna come. You're 29. You've got a long life ahead of you. So, starting to change the thought patterns that are going on in your brain is where we gotta, and I'm not calling you out, honey. I'm just saying we gotta start there. Okay, let's
I understand.
okay. So thank you for sharing. Thank you so much for sharing with us. And
Absolutely.
we are all on your team. Okay. Do not be afraid to reach out to any of us. And I will write your email down as Arnie's talking, and I'll reach out to you in the next couple of days here. Okay.
Okay.
Oh, Lane.
I just want, B, have you read the Just Say Yes to Life book that SAO did?
No.
Okay, if you will put your mailing address in the chat, I'll mail you a copy of it for free. It's a wonderful book. It's 26 stories of people of all ages. There's plenty of young people in this book that have overcome stroke and created new lives, a different life than they had before, but new lives. And for anybody else on here, if you have not read it, if you'll just send me your address, I'll send you a book.
Yeah. Thank you, Lane.
I'm very happy to do it. I think you'll really enjoy it because there's a lot of people under 35 in there.
Okay.
Absolutely.
And anybody else, Robin, have you read our book?
I have a copy of it.
Okay, thanks.
Are there any plans to make that book an audio book?
Oh,
I
you know,
need to
that's
read
a
it.
great question. Thank you for asking that. What
Yeah,
do you
I
think
don't
it
read-
would be? So I met yesterday, I'll talk real quick, Keith. I met yesterday with the book public, a man that's going to help us with a book. And I think we are going to do it as an audio book. And I've got somebody that'll record
That
some
would
of
be
the
great.
chapters. And now you've just motivated me to do it as an audio book. So thank you.
Monica, did
And-
you ever get a book?
That'll be appreciated. Thanks so much.
No, I have not.
Okay, well, I'll make sure yours comes to you as well. Okay.
All right. And Keith, did you get V's mailing
I
address?
got
or-
it. Everything's
All right, and send it
got
to
it
me
all.
and we'll get it off to you, V.
okay. And real quick, Ralph, and then we're gonna
Thank you.
head.
Yeah, I just
on it.
wanted to let you know, I've started actually doing some audio recordings for the radio station of the chapters. So I will have that completed pretty soon. So I'll be able to give that to everybody as well.
Awesome. That's great, Ralph. Thank you. Arnie, you're up, buddy.
Okay, I'll try and be quick, which for me is hard. Hey, V, real quick, one thing that my family has taught me, and it really resonated is, as you recover, don't compare your recovery to what you did yesterday. Look back 1 year and compare yourself to where you were 1 year ago. It's amazing of, how far you actually come, and you don't even realize it. So don't get too bent out of shape because you're not improving as fast as you would like, because you are improving more than you really think.
Great point, Arnie.
Yep.
Thank
Okay,
you.
here's my story, and I'll be quick. I'll try, Keith. My name is Arnie Hubelman. I had my stroke a little over 3 years ago. I was 56 years old. At the pinnacle of my professional career, my life was real. I was living a fantastic life. My family and I, we just purchased a farm, or I should say recreational property about 90 minutes south of St. Louis. And where we like the grandkids could go hike and walk in the woods. There was trails. There's some fishing and there's some hunting. And March 6th of 2020, we closed on the property. March 7th, I was being airlifted from the farm to St. Louis. And so the next day, I was in the hospital. I realized I had a stroke, but I had no idea what that meant.
Yeah.
My whole philosophy in life, if I got injured playing sports, if I hurt myself, it's like, okay, let's get up and let's start repairing yourself. Let's start, getting back to where you were beforehand. When I had no, I was laying in the hospital, they were saying I had a stroke, and they're trying to tell me what this meant. I'm like, okay, let's get back to let's rehab myself. You know, I had no clue what it meant. But Keith, one of the things that I think people don't realize is, you know, it's hard on the person who had the stroke, but in my case, I think it was harder on my wife because she basically lost her husband.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
So one day I'm having a great life. You know, I had a wonderful life. And the next day, you know, I lost my job. You know, actually, I also lost my identity, which for me was very difficult to try and find back.
Mm.
For the longest time, I tried to find myself. And Keith, I had throughout my recovery, I had a few revelations that really helped me out in my recovery. You know, as I was trying to find who the new Arnie was, I was talking to a real good friend of mine, and he goes, "Arnie, you haven't changed. You're still Arnie. Your heart is still the same. So as long as your heart is still the same, you're the same person." And I kept talking to my neuropsychologist. I said, "Dr. Cruza, I lost this. I lost this." And she said, "Arnie, you didn't lose anything. You just can't do it as well as you did as you were before the stroke." And that kind of resonated a lot with me. And another revelation was I got 2 grandsons. I mean, they are a hoot. They are just so darn fun. And my wife and I were playing hockey in our basement a while back. And, you know, I was a very young 56-year-old. I could bounce around. I was very athletic. And I realized playing hockey with my grandsons in our basement, you know, they didn't care what I was. All they cared about that I was still around to stand in front of the hockey net so they can just shoot pucks at me all day. They didn't care how well I was. You know, they were just happy that I was still there.
Playing with them.
I'm sorry, guys.
Okay, buddy.
When I talk about my family, I just break down.
Mm-hmm.
But, you know, like I was saying, you know, this was hard on me. It turned my life around, and I had a good life. But I think it was harder on my wife because she lost her husband. And to Jeffrey's point, I went through some severe depression. And there was one time I was at Walmart here in St. Louis. I was stopped by Walmart to get my grandsons a Christmas gift. And as soon as I walked into the Walmart, I just felt this huge weight on my shoulders. And then a little time later, I just started bawling. I was uncontrollable crying. I sat down in the middle of Walmart near in the Rubbermaid aisle. And here I am, I'm 56 years old, and I'm bawling uncontrollably. And then, so one of the workers comes and, "Sir, are you okay?" I said, "Just help me to my truck, and I'll be fine." So he helped me up, and he got me to my truck, and I rolled the windows down just a little bit, and I just yelled at the top of my voice, as, "Lord, I need your help. I can't do this by myself."
Mm.
And then shortly thereafter, I just felt this ease come over myself.
Mm.
I called my wife, and I told her, I said, "Debbie, I need help." She called my doctor, and the next day I was in to see my doctor. And to Jeffrey's point, Jeffrey, there was times where I felt my family was better off without me. I really did, because I felt like such a burden. And then Keith, my youngest daughter, she's 30 years old now, and she's been battling a form of depression since she was like 4 years old.
Mm.
So I started thinking of her. I go, "Arnie, here, your daughter's been dealing with depression for almost 30 years, and here you are whining that you've been dealing with it for weeks or months. So, you know, quit being a wimp and just deal with it." And through my neuropsychologist and my family, they're the support that got me to where I am today, Keith.
Yeah. Well, buddy,
Wow.
we're so happy to have you.
Arnie, thank you so much.
Yeah.
Thank you. Thank
Yeah.
you.
And Lonnie, thank you very much. But Keith, the other thing I want to mention is I'm 60 years old now.
Mhm.
I'm 3 years into my recovery, and I feel like I'm just starting to live life.
Mm.
You
I
know,
love it.
every day I get up, and I'm really ready to do something. And it's been 3 years of hell. Believe me, it has been 3 years of hell. I had because of my stroke, I had mental fatigue that was it left me a vegetable.
Mm.
And I don't even know how to explain mental fatigue, but it was debilitating.
Well, but here's the thing. I want to just make a comment about that real quick because I know a lot of you, okay? And I know some of you pretty well. We all go through those times when we feel like that, just like Lonnie was saying, just like all of us have. And the key here is to either have a friend or a way, journal. I don't care what you do, but you got to find that way to start getting back. You know, we've all heard the thing, 2 steps forward, 1 step back. Well, shit, after having a stroke, it sometimes can be 1 step forward, 2 steps back. We all know it, right? And I'm sorry, sorry, Bev. Bev's a pastor, just so everybody knows.
That's just farm talk, Keith. It's farm talk.
That's right. Oh, yeah, Karen and Jock too. So, anyway, I lost my point, I guess, but you've got to be willing to take those steps back and get back on that horse. You've got to keep going. What's the alternative? You know, it's just like Arnie was talking about. It's like Jeff talked about. I had the similar, you know, someday I'm going to tell all you my story too.
Yeah.
And so, you know, you have to be willing to keep going. And that's why I love all of you. And I love the support group because we are helping people do just that. Are we not?
Yeah.
Hey,
Bev,
Keith, 6 months after my stroke. Okay, go ahead.
Arnie, finish up, and then Bev, you got the next one.
Okay. Six months after my stroke, I mean, my mental recovery, I felt was doing fantastic. I was really making a lot of progress. And then all of a sudden I had a seizure, and it just erased 6 months of progress.
Mm.
And I'm laying in the hospital, and my oldest daughter standing next to me, and she goes, "Dad, oh my gosh." I said, "Kelsey, don't worry. It took me 6 months to get to where I am today. What's another 6 months? You know, I have time flies so fast."
But
So
Arnie,
I said, "Kelsey,
let me ask you a question before you move on. So
Okay.
here was your daughter, right? And you were coaching your daughter. You were telling your daughter something, and you were encouraging. Am I right?
I was trying to take some of the emotions off of her because she
Exactly.
felt terrible for what happened." And I'm like, "Kelsey, don't worry. You know, I will get back to where I was.
So
Yeah, it's hard. It takes some work, but I had no doubt that I would get back to where I was, Keith."
yeah. So we love ourselves, okay? If we didn't love ourselves, we wouldn't be here, frankly, okay? So let's accept that. And then we love others, okay? And we love others to the point, a lot of times, to do more for those people than we'll do for ourselves. And of course, we'll do more for them, like your daughter. I sit here, I see Michelle Humphrey over there. She had her husband and her son talk one time, and I'm telling you, it was incredible. How old is your son? 12, Michelle? You're muted.
He'll be 13 in January.
Yeah. And I mean, it was incredible. So my point is just that we sometimes need to lean on, Arnie, just like you're talking about. We got to lean on our daughter, our son, our spouse, whatever it is, it's motivational for you. find that motivation and lean on it. And maybe it's God, maybe it's not, I don't know, but you have to find it. You're the only one that can. And when you find it, you're going to be on your way. So Arnie, I didn't mean to interrupt you, my friend.
That's okay. Hey, Keith, my daughter had had this sign in her kitchen. And it said, Dad, you've been assigned this mountain to show others it can be moved. You know, so she had the sign in her kitchen, said, Dad, you have been assigned this mountain to show that others that it can be moved. You know, and I took that as, you know, I took that as inspirational, that I wanted to be a role model, that no matter what happens, you can move that mountain if you focus and if you concentrate and if you work hard. This is not easy.
Yep. Right on.
And
buddy.
Keith, you know, during my recovery, yeah, I'm 3 years in, you know, I found out that neurologists, they don't have a clue about the brain recovery. So a lot of the research that I learned is from you guys and also do my own research. But I have tried anything and everything that I could think of that might help my brain. I did the hyperbaric oxygen chamber for a little while. And I also just started this mindfulness stress reduction. It's kind of like a form of meditation, but so I'm trying. You know, everybody tries things to see if it works. If it doesn't work, you don't know. But I never wanted to go through life like, what if I would have done this, where would I be?
That's right, and that's great, Arnie. And I'm gonna keep moving forward because of time, but that is so critical, important. I saw Monica shaking her head when you were talking about those things, because I think she's probably tried some too. I want to go to Bev before we wrap up. So Bev, I'm going to give Arnie. Thank you so much, buddy. You're a stand-up guy. What? Go ahead.
Hey, V, I just want to say the brain is an incredible organ or muscle. It can be relearned. It can be retaught. So don't give up on yourself, and look at your progress from last year, not from yesterday.
Yeah.
And it's amazing how fast you really do recover if you look at it from that perspective.
Yeah. That was awesome, Arnie. Good job, buddy. That was right on the money.
I'm done.
Bev, go ahead real quick.
After I had my strokes, my first one was 1999, and my second one was in 2000. And so I'm a long-term survivor. I had a rare brain disease called moyamoya, which is unusual, but we got through that. I had 2 brain surgeries also. Anyway, when all of the people that were supervising me in my field of ministry kept saying, "You're disabled, you need to go on disability, da 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 da." And I said, "No, I'm going to get through this. I'm going to do what I need to do." And I didn't quit. And I said, "I'm not disabled. I'm differently abled." You know,
I love it.
Really, I mean, it's all in your perspective. So just recently, actually in April, I had cancer surgery. I have colon cancer, and I'm on chemo now. And the cancer doctor didn't know anything about my moyamoya, and I brought him Just Say Yes to Life book, gave it to him, and he was so excited, and he said, "You've taught me more. What did you do in your lifetime before?" And I told him that I was a pastor, and he said, "Well, you're intelligent." And he said, "You know what? I think that you're going to get through this chemo without a lot of difficulty." I have not had any ill side effects. I'm 2 weeks in, getting ready to start my week off the chemo drugs. And so it's exciting, but you have to have a different perspective. He said, "I think because of the way that you are and all that you are in terms of your perspective, you're going to sail through." So I have 6 months of chemo, but nothing can stop us if you just have that positive attitude. And my chapter is chapter 4 in Just Say Yes to Life, and it's called Never a Quitter. Who knew?
And if you haven't read Bev's story, it's just amazing. I would encourage all of you to read it or reread it.
That's awesome. I'm gonna make sure that Monica gets a copy, V
Yeah.
gets a copy. Anybody else need a copy?
Anybody-
here?
Free copies, we'll
Michelle.
mail them out.
Michelle, you guys know how to get a hold of me, so reach out to me and I'll make sure you get them. And I'll touch base with Lanae too and make
Thanks,
sure.
Chief.
Robin, do you need one too?
Yeah, because my copy is not in the place I am right now.
Okay, so what I am gonna ask is send to Stroke Awareness Oregon the address.
It's admin@strokeawarenessoregon.org.
Yeah,
And if you'll just put your address and your name, all you have to do is say free book. And
Okay.
Keith,
Is
our
it possible
desk
for me
will
to
get
leave
it.
a full message?
pardon me?
Could I call the Stroke Awareness Oregon
Yes.
office and leave a phone message with that information?
Yes,
Yes.
absolutely.
Okay,
Absolutely, you can. So
I will do that.
yeah, and you
Thank
guys,
you.
know,
It's difficult for me to type.
yeah, I got you, bud. Let's see. It's about time here.
No, Keith, before we go, I really want everyone to understand what Ralph is doing with Stroke Warrior Radio.
Yeah.
Have you all been have you all been on Stroke Warrior Radio?
No.
Oh my gosh, this is amazing. The only radio station in the world dedicated to stroke issues.
Ralph, go ahead for a minute, buddy.
Real quick, it's strokewarriorradio.com. You can tune in on the button right on the first page. It's scattered with shows about stroke survivors, occupational therapy, physical therapy, mental health, and it's all pretty scattered right now. I just started 2 weeks ago and I'm learning the whole thing, which is difficult alone without the stroke. But yeah, if you want to be interviewed, it's getting better as it goes along. Be patient. It's intertwined with music during the day, but please, strokewarriorradio.com, hit the tune in button and you can listen to all the different programs. And by the end of tomorrow, I'll have the full schedule for the whole week up there. So you can tune in at whatever time or program you want to listen to.
Well, and so it's one of those things that is just kicking off. And so give Ralph a little grace as he goes, but it's going to start filling up and filling up and filling up. And it's going to be dedicated to helping stroke warriors out there. And I'm just excited about it. And Ralph, great job.
Thank you.
Margaret's trying to come back in.
Good job, Rob.
Thank you, sir.
Yeah.
It's pretty amazing what Ralph has done as a stroke warrior to figure out the technology to get this launched. It's really just amazing.
It really is. And thank you, Lonnie, for saying that. And Ralph,
thank you.
I'm right there in your corner too, buddy. I believe in you and you're doing a fabulous job.
Thank you.
So, yeah, Margaret, we're just about done here. I'll have the recording. Sorry, I don't know if the timing was wrong or what for you, but
where is Margaret at?
Where do you live, Margaret?
I live in Sun River.
Oh, you do?
Oh, you do?
Yes.
Oh gosh. Well, did you get this notice via email from SAO?
Yes. And I'm sorry, I just looked at my emails.
Okay, so you'll get a copy. You'll get a copy of it. Listen to this. We just had an all-inclusive today. It was really good. And we look forward to having you next time too.
Thanks.
If possible. So like I said before, real quick, I'm going to wrap up you guys. So I'm trying to get a gal, Michelle Humphrey introduced me to Gail Flans, and she had an issue. She had to do another thing, and so she wasn't able to make it today, but she's coming either the next time, probably the next time, and then the one after that is Allison, who's on here, who's going to be talking with us. And you guys, I just want to, from the heart, okay? You know, I love every one of you. And I want you to continue to grow. Continue to work on yourself. All of this talk that we've been having has been fabulous. And you've got to start journaling. You've just like Harold's doing, start doing the things so you can go back and you can look at the progress that you've made. I mean, if you started doing that from the get-go, you would see that, oh crap, you know, 6 months ago, I wasn't able to do this or that. And that is the encouragement that you need to continue to grow. Okay. We so appreciate you guys being on here. Please let everybody know we're going to grow this as we do, and we're going to continue to give people hope and what they need to grow after having a stroke. Lonnie, go ahead.
I have a question. Sorry, Keith. Is there any way, I know we're 1 hour, right? But it always seems like it ends too soon.
Well, but that's the good news about it, Lonnie. Frankly, because if we go way too long, then people will start getting bored and then they won't show up. That's my own opinion. We can talk more about that, you and I. And
whatever.
If we need to go a little longer, everybody let me know. If you guys want to go longer, we can put it together. And so whatever the group wants is what we're gonna do. That's how I see it. So real quick, Ralph, is tomorrow the men's club online?
Yes, tomorrow's the Zoom meeting online.
Okay,
so 4 p.m. Pacific time.
Okay. So Ralph is running the men's group right now, and he's doing both a Zoom meeting and an in-person. And so the Zoom meeting is tomorrow at 4 for all the men who want to join. It's more of just an open meeting, just chat. Yep.
Whatever comes up, and it stays there.
Anything else? Anybody else?
Hey, Keith, can I say just one thing?
Yes, Arnie.
After I had my stroke, you know, I felt, and probably a lot of people, I felt utterly alone and totally alone. I couldn't talk to anybody. It was right at the beginning of COVID. There was some stroke groups in St. Louis, but they never met. They quit canceling because of COVID, you know, and so the longer the months went on, the more depressed I got because I had nobody to talk to. I just longed to talk to somebody who has gone through this. And then my daughter did some research and found you guys. And I'll tell you, Keith, it turned my world around. You know, I felt like I had, you are my people. And it gave me hope. It gave me something inspirational. I mean, because everybody has their own story. And it's just fantastic how people have come back.
Thank you.
And V, you will come back too. So don't worry about it. You will come back.
Right on. Right on.
It may take a little time, but you will come back. Guaranteed.
Thank you for sharing that, Arnie. And we're pretty proud of what we've got here. I'll be honest. And we've done a really good job of creating more stuff for people. You know,
most importantly, Keith, SAO and you guys gave me hope. That's all I needed.
Agreed.
Arnie,
I just want to know if there was a.
Agreed.
That means so much, Arnie.
That's huge. That's huge, buddy. You know, we're starting a peer support group too. And oh my gosh, you guys, there's so much need for that. Because not everybody, you know, I'm gonna give you guys a challenge right now. Okay, here's the challenge. I want to hear from those of you next time who have gone out and who have found somebody else who is struggling due to their stroke, and you have encouraged them. I don't care if it's email. I don't care if it's a one-on-one talk. I don't care if you go have coffee, but do it. It will make you feel proud of who you are and that you know you're helping people, just like Jeff started in the beginning. And so next time I'm going to bring it up. I want to hear from all of you guys. Okay. So
tell you right now, that was the name.
Yeah, I know. She's an incredible woman. And Lanae, yeah, okay. Lanae has done a lot for everybody. She really has. And we all,
But I get joy from doing this. So it's not about me. I just get joy. You all bring me joy to see Harold looking so great and speaking so well. It puts me in a good mood. I'm so happy for all of us.
yeah, yeah. Fabulous. Well, all right. We could go on and on, like Lanae said, but I'm
Be
gonna
sure
cut
to
her short.
be sure to, if you want a book, get us your mailing address and you'll get one.
Absolutely.
Thanks, Lene.
Absolutely. All right, you guys, care deeply for all of you. Have a great rest of the week, and we'll see you in a couple of weeks, okay?
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
So,
Bye-bye.
Another stroke survivor calling me.
Bye, y'all.
Bye-bye.
I
Hey, David, just a second, just a second.